and it's a bunch of old leathery fucking dudes
Who've been doing it for years.
getting their dick sucked by these like bombshell models.
Oof.
And he's like, oh, I love getting my dick sucked. I love getting my dick sucked in an airplane. And I'm already going to Epstein Island. I'm fucked up, dude. Testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey, everybody, what's going on? Welcome to the Nobody's Happy podcast. With me, as always, is the wonderful Josh Cabizzle.
And we are in our bomb shelter now.
Yes, there's some renovation going on in the studio, which is why I look like I'm in a fucking novela from the 70s in Mexico. The coloring, the tone. Shit, what were we talking about? Oh yeah,
My camera's not on, but keep going.
your camera's not on. All right, well, fuck it, man. So George is not here because George is out there getting his blood tested, getting that cholesterol highway he calls a bloodstream tested. No, he's a big fella, so he's gotta get checked out. You know, he's one of those guys where like when he breathes, you're just like, is this normal, or is he just that big of a guy? Is that what big guys sound like? Do they sound like they're swimming in mud?
We do. It's not our fault.
Yeah.
It is our eating habits, but not our fault.
What was I going to talk about? I was going to talk about Elon Musk. First of all, didn't Elon Musk, he owns Twitter now, right?
Correct.
Because I've been going into Twitter, right? And he keeps saying that Twitter is up in usage the most it's ever been for the past few weeks. And it's weird, like just in the past few weeks, I've been getting on Twitter more. But I don't know, like why? Like, why did a bunch of us just decide to go on Twitter all of a sudden in the past few weeks?
Because he's the billionaire you back.
The billionaire back?
Not like in. I'm saying like, there's certain billionaires people back. Like there's people who are Bill Gates fans. You know what I mean? They're like, he does so much for the world. Look at what he does for the world. And other people are Elon Musk people. I don't know any Jeff Bezos people.
I didn't really. I didn't know he was gonna buy Twitter until after I was already on Twitter looking at it, going like just seeing lunatics, dude. You want to talk about what happens when you can talk to somebody without having to stand in front of them? It is disgusting the way people act. Like the way people just talk to each other, like, and you're a this and you're a that, and they'll accuse each other of anywhere from being racist to being an international spy spewing propaganda from another nation. Like that's the kind of shit that happens when you can't stand in front of somebody. I think that makes you, like, as a small dude growing up, I think part of what made me so diplomatic, or at least I've always been told, you know, easy to talk to once we become friends and understanding, is because when you're a small dude and you grow up in a neighborhood or go to a school that's, you know, pretty fucking wild and there's fights all the time, you kind of like have to, you know, it's evolution. It's like, I don't have a big body. I don't want to get beat up, even though sometimes I did get into fights. For the most part, you kind of, you know, try to use your words, measure your words so that people know exactly what you're saying and that you're being as calm and neutral as possible as to not get people riled up.
Well, so imagine you're able to be invisible and somebody's all happy, like, man, look at my new suit. And you're able to grab a glass of milk and just pour it on top of that person's head. and they'd have no idea that was you. You get to do that on the internet all day to anybody you want.
And nobody knows who you really are. It's
Yeah.
just somebody just dumped milk all over my tweet,
Yeah, exactly.
and now I'm standing here like a jackass, and some fucking dickhead is just leaving little footprints of milk as they leave the room. Yeah, it's fun. I don't know what the attraction to me is, because sometimes I do just get furious. You know, like if I'm against supporting any war or going to or bombing any place, you know, there's always people that'll come out, just people that are like, but it's, you know, they hate our freedom, or, you know, we got to go take care of fight for freedom. We got to go bomb people for freedom. You know, that's where I'm just like, you fuck it. But there's no way. It's like a lose-lose situation. You're just getting mad, and you know that if you retaliate, now you're just one of these crazy people arguing on Twitter. And I'm sure that you're doing some kind of fucking harm to your psyche. Maybe like an inability to compromise with people because you're so used to being combative all the time. You know, maybe your wife wants to eat somewhere, and you're like, no, bitch, we're not having that again. Because you're just so used to
But it's the emotional people. It's like the lady who's like, hit him, Dan. And Dan's like, fuck, all right. And and Dan wasn't even a part of it. You know what I mean? Except Dan is America, and America's like, watch, come on, fucking build me up. I love this toxic relationship.
Jesus Christ. Is that what it is? It's the emotional people?
I mean, we're all emotional. Also, something with the moon and stuff, and where we are in orbit, and you know that's why birds are flying into the sides of mountains.
I want to believe in magic, dude. I so want to believe in like.
Okay.
Because when I swear to God, when I make fun of horoscopes and all that stuff, but when I saw the shit for like that I'm the what is it called, the month animal, the
for
astrology.
The Chinese calendar has it. The animal.
Oh no, I meant because Pisces, the astrological sign.
Yeah.
I swear, I want to believe in this stuff. I know it's bullshit. It's like a magic trick. I know you're the hand. You're doing something with your hand, and that's how it looks like the coin disappeared. But I know it's not real magic. Astrology feels like David Blaine doing a magic trick in front of you and going like, I want to believe that, but I know it's bullshit somehow.
Does the moon affect people?
I don't know. I mean, I know it affects the tide of the water.
More murders are done during a full moon than any other day, and I'll look that up right now.
I was about to say, I don't know, man. Shouldn't you have some kind of proof when you say that?
Astrology.com.
You gotta go BuzzFeed. I was about to say 17 magazines article on why more murders happen when Justin Bieber.
A 2010 study of Roger Williams University examined the lunar crime relationship in San Antonio over 5 years and found the moon's phase was not related with the level of crime and disorder. It's just Mexicans and the way they are.
Did it really say that? What are you reading?
No, it's a disordered report. It's in the police because it's in San Antonio. I was like, I didn't know we did a fucking study. Of course, San Antonio would do a study because of people like me.
I was about to say, well, yeah, I know. And then I was about to say, it's like, man, they're gonna be like, they're animals. What do you want? You know, they react to nature the way these beasts.
Okay.
If there's a tornado coming, you're gonna see all the Mexicans just running for some reason. Mexicans and animals. They can feel it in their bones.
Wow, I've been repeating that for years.
And basically, that said that it's a
They
myth.
said there's no correlation between the two.
Yeah, dude. You know what's crazy? I've heard you say that before.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember if we had debunked it or.
No, we never looked it up.
I was like, all right, I guess.
You know what sucks? I need to start saying it in certain ways. Like, I think the moon, I need to say stuff like that instead of I spit it and it sounds like I'm saying a fact.
Right.
And I think that's what drives people nuts.
Yes, you take a very like hard jump at it. You jump into the deep end right away. Well, you know, Mexicans kill each other during the moon all the time. Yeah, you make it a racist thing. What were we talking about?
Full moon worker.
Anyway,
No,
I guess
same thing.
Twitter and Elon Musk and billionaires. That FTX, is that what it is? That FTX thing,
Yeah, they were laundering money.
laundering money. Ah, damn, dude. Sometimes I feel like when I was hearing about that, I was like, maybe this is the world order. Maybe this is the natural order. Maybe dumb people like me that can't understand these things are just meant to be ruled by these people. And even though I didn't I don't have any Bitcoin or I don't do any of that stuff or trade, I was wondering man, I think I'm a fairly intelligent guy, hip to government bullshit, or at least hip to a lot of bullshit. But how do I not know that this is happening? And not only that, now that I know, I don't even know what it is. I just know that it happened. FTX went down. Something about crypto exchange. I don't even know what that means. I guess a lot
It
of
was the second largest crypto. It was a bank from the Bahamas.
they were just people that keep your crypto money.
Yes, they keep your crypto money and they pay you. They pay you interest on it. So yeah, and they created their own dollars where they was backed up by other digital currencies, and that they were like, see, it's one for one. But what Sam Bankman-Fried,
What does that mean?
SBF,
Backed up.
Meaning, okay, we have X amount of our coin, and that's backed up by X amount of this coin. So the reason it has value is because this has value.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that
Meaning they'll take the exchange of it.
yeah.
two coins.
So if you start selling it, then we have to sell the reserve behind it, and that's how we pay you.
Okay.
But that's saying that
So they basically FTX was just a bank for Bitcoin, and then one day the bank closed.
for all currencies. No, what happened was they had a bank run. Everybody tried to take their money at once, and the coin fell, and so they started selling all their Bitcoin. They had a lot of this other one called Solana, and that one went down like 70-something%. And so they're selling that to cover it.
Female alone in prison.
But exactly. But it was $8 billion that they were funneling into an American company. And so he was betting.
First of all, full disclosure, Josh is always simping for the far right, so don't be surprised if you hear some.
Yo, what
crazy.
this is what we're talking about. Don't be what the fuck? Just fucking
No, but this is where it's getting interesting, because this is where I was like, man, does every big news story with our government have some corruption in it? Because this is where that kind of leads to, right? So go ahead, start from the. They were investing in what company in the?
So they were trying, and then okay, so and the theory is that Gary Gensler was trying to push FTX.
Who the fuck is that guy?
He's the head of the SEC.
Okay. Something to do with money in our government, right?
Yes, correct. So if you want to create like a ETF, you have to go through him. If your company wants to get on the NASDAQ or whatever, you have to.
Get
it has to
people
go
to invest
through.
your shit.
Yeah, to go through the SEC.
Go public.
Yes, exactly.
See, I'm fucking learning.
And so apparently he was trying to fast track it, and it's just really high individuals within our government that they're saying is like, yo, you're laundering money through FTX into Alameda, which was his company, that guy, Sam Bankman-Fried or whatever his name is, laundering $8 billion into his company. And I know I'm sounding like this is fat, go look it up yourself. And then that money also was being laundered into Ukraine to fight the war. And it was something like $100 billion. And they were washing it in Ukraine. And so it was just basically, give me your money, I'm going to throw it over here. Nobody's keeping track of how much money is being put out and put in. And then so when the economy fell and the Fed tightened and interest rates kept going up, people needed their money, fucking shit broke.
Oof.
Yeah, but they're saying that there's banks that are gonna, like American banks. I don't know who it is, but a major one that had a lot of money in it.
But the people that got hurt by this the most
Were
are people who were investing in the crypto coin.
they couldn't remove it. They couldn't get it off the
But I'm saying,
exchange.
like, what kind of people? Like, are we talking about like regular people?
Yes.
People with just regular.
Raul puts $1,000 in the FTX exchange and he buys Ethereum and Bitcoin and Solana. He finds out FTX is doing this. He tries to remove his money. He can't because FTX put a stop to withdrawals. It's all right. They won't take it. You look again, all your money's gone. Wait, where the fuck did all my coin go? Where's all my coin? You're not backed up. Like a bank is backed up to $100,000 in for your savings if there's a bank run or it's robbed
Right.
or whatever by the government.
But this
is not backed up by shit. You lost your shit.
this is out in space.
This is the second biggest exchange in the world. So when I say exchange, think NASDAQ and Dow Jones, you know,
Damn.
that whole thing went down.
This is how you know they got you by the balls, man. People try to do something. Well,
And take a look at take a look at this. They're on the 30th, they were supposed to have a New York Times event. It was that guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, president from Ukraine, Mark Zuckerberg, and the secretary, Janet Yellen. And it was with the New York
Janet screaming. Proud of that one.
And it was New York Times in partnership with WEF partner. Accenture is supposed to be hosting a live event with all these people, and it's about bringing in the new, the new system.
When is this was it supposed to happen?
It was supposed to happen on the 30th.
Of this month.
Uh-huh.
Damn, just recently it collapsed. So where's the guy?
He's being held at his house where they'd have allegedly massive orgies. So it's $35 million mansion in the Bahamas. And they asked him, "How you doing?" He's like, I'm not that bad. I've been playing video games all day. I'm doing pretty good.
He's I also heard he was autistic or something like that.
I don't know.
Or is that what they're trying to say
Yeah.
now? Like, oh, dude, he's just,
He's Mark Zuckerberg, like the way he talks.
right.
Like that weird, like, hey, but he's from
Lack of social skill. You know what? I'm tired of these fucking billionaires trying to make themselves sound special. Like,
They're the
"Oh, I'm
kids.
so smart.
They're the kids of the
I was an
billionaires.
idiot and I was also terrible at connecting with people. You're not fucking special.
Have you seen his girlfriend?
No.
That's also a part of it that helped run it.
No, let me see. Well, I mean, I can't see it because it's fucking.
I'll show you right now.
Tell me what to type into my phone. Janet yelling at people.
That's her. And she was the one helping.
Oh, this broad?
Yeah, and she was the one that's. And she's like throwing him under the bus now. Apparently, she's like, Sam knew the whole time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that he's the one that.
Put her picture back up. Can you imagine that guy and this chick just having like the raunchiest,
Ugh.
like fucking nerd crypto sex? Smells like pennies
Uh,
and a little bit of doo doo.
Harry, why did they put this on Daily Mail? Harry Potter fan, ex-girlfriend, 28. Why Harry Potter fan? Founder Sam Bankman-Fried bragged she only needed elementary school math to be CEO of his startup, despite propped up by funds from his failed sister crypto exchange.
Dude, being an owner of anything is you could do it knowing basic math. You just got to put smart people in charge of shit.
She secretly transferred $10 billion from FTX to Sam Bankman-Fried, his Alameda Research.
How much money?
$10 billion.
10 billion, dude.
$10 billion.
Can you imagine, dude? Like, I have fantasies of like winning $1 million. And in my fantasies, I have to pay taxes. So I'm like, well, then I'd be left with what, $450,000. What would I do? In my own fantasies,
You should never have
I
to pay
tax
taxes.
myself. No, not in my fantasies.
No, I'm saying if you lose $10 billion, like if I had $10 billion and it was all in FTX and I lost it all, that's my tax write-off for life. Like,
Oh, Jesus.
you know what I mean?
But is that a write-off?
If you lose all, yeah. Like, for example, a company called Core Scientific I've been investing in is now 19 cents and it's probably going to go bankrupt. So I get to write off all the money I invested, and I'm going to have that fight next year with my wife as I'm like, hey, put this deduction. And all that money invested, gone. Go ahead.
So the government will.
Tax loss. It's called tax loss harvesting too. You can purposely in crypto at the end of the year, sell all your crypto if it's at a loss, write it all off, and the very next day purchase it again.
Yeah.
And so now you get the tax write-off, and you still have it all back. And usually, if you're a big corporation, that probably made it drop, which made other people sell. So now you can buy it back even cheaper. But in the stock market, you can't do that. You have to wait 30 days. So if you sell everything, you have to wait 30 days before you can buy everything again. In crypto, you can sell.
That makes sense. Jesus Christ.
You can sell. That's why they're trying to get people to regulate it now. And that's what I think is going to happen. They're going to regulate it really hard. And
because people are just stepping in and out of the.
Because pendejos like me who are like, man, I'm broke, but I put a lot of money into Shiba Inu, and you know what I mean. So it's like it's a stupid dog coin, you know. And so they're trying to say it's like, well, you guys are too stupid, and you're gonna hurt yourself. So now we got to regulate you. And it's really just because, like this, it's so much insider trading and everything, and I mean, $10 billion. The way that's bigger than Bernie Madoff and all them. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus. It's huge. And everyone's just like, oh, well, but it's crypto, so it's crazy.
Well, the good news, I'm selling some shirts. So I'm already on my way there, man. One of these days. I'm gonna be. I just want a house with a pool. If I can have a house with a pool and a yard big enough for my dog to run back and forth and cut a trail into, because I never walk her.
You want to hear what she said?
That. What, this broad?
Yeah.
Let me see.
That
all right.
have been able
so it's this chick. Why does it look like a porno is about to start?
Degree, or it has been
freeze it and show everybody
trading activity.
Well, not like that.
Oh, I can. If I freeze it, it does.
Cocksuckers.
Yeah, absolutely could pull it off without my math degree. Use very little math. Use a lot of like elementary school math, like arithmetic, probability, but not really any of the advanced stuff I learned in college.
Yeah, I love sucking cock.
So I see those abstract math classes are not required.
Bitch, you can't even talk English.
Yeah, she was, and apparently, I forgot who her mom was. Her mom's like high up on the Clinton, what's it called, advisors. She's been a Clinton advisor for a long, long time.
This chick, her mom?
Her mom, yeah.
Dude, yeah, that whole business is incestuous.
Yeah.
They just politicians
Nepotism.
with politicians. Yeah, nepotism. Politicians, kids are with politicians' kids, and they all go to the same schools. Fucking make each other drink pee.
Ugh.
As some kind of fucking ritual.
Look, that was their coin. In one day, boom, boom. Look how low it went. It was up here, and then just they just took all that money.
That doesn't mean anything to me. What the fuck is
it's a chart. It's $88 minus 97%. It used to be at 2,900 or
so.
Almost
What was
3,
that peak? What was that peak before it dropped?
Right here.
Yeah. Does it say?
No, it doesn't say on here.
No.
But I mean,
it's a little more dramatic when you know the number.
But the peak was.
But it does fall flat.
Yeah, exactly. 97%, and then.
I mean, this is all good, but how does this fucking help me? You know, I feel like that's what I was saying earlier. I was like, is this the order of the world? Just the people with the most clever scheme are the ones with the billions of dollars, with the millions of dollars, and the rest of us were just like, hey man, I mean, as long as I can go to the movies on Friday or go see a comedy show, I guess it's not that bad. Is it people? Maybe it's people thinking, not thinking big. But do you have to think big all the time?
I think it's after the whole pandemic, the world is a vampire. No, I think it's just the whole board was flipped over and all the chess pieces are in the air, and it's like grab what you can.
Everybody is basically like realized, oh no, fuck society. it's a facade. It's always been every man for himself, in this big what do you call it, playground we call capitalism. It's just every man for himself, and if you get caught under the wheels, that's on you for not looking out.
It's more insane than that. The concept of money is being questioned right now, meaning for 5,000 years, people would at least agree, like, okay, well, gold, you know, even there might be fiat money, but for 5,000 years, people would agree at least gold is something that we can value, and now people are questioning that. So it's like, what is money, and who's going to decide what we go by from now on?
Right, because we've only been using money for a fraction of the human existence.
Yeah, we seashells, rocks. You know, we'd always use
It was
something.
tangible. I mean, useful things, practical things.
Tulips lasted 40 years.
What?
Tulips? Never heard of tulips? Where they'd
The flower?
the flower was used as a
Tulips
currency.
did not last 40 years, dude.
No. The tulip currency lasted 40 years. Never heard of that?
Oh.
The tulip.
I thought that the tulips were supposed to last for
no,
40
no, no,
years.
no.
I was like, are you out of your fucking mind?
No, tulips.
Because I'm high as fuck and I can't think.
I have tulips right now. They always die. But no. Yeah, there was a thing called. There was a time that tulips were used as currency in a country, and it lasted 40 years. They used tulips, and then they call it like the tulips collapse. And it's like,
It was like their crypto.
yeah, exactly.
That tulip thing is stupid. I don't know why you keep investing in tulips.
Yeah. And over here all day, I was just like, I'm telling you that, and shells, bro. Look at all my shells.
Pearls.
Yeah, it was always something like that. But gold has been the longest running, 5,000. And that's because it doesn't oxidize. So you can put a thing of gold in the
Is
ground.
it super malleable too?
Yes, that too. Yeah. So you're able to break off a small piece and then hand it over. Apparently, that's why the aliens brought us here, so that we could mine gold.
Now we're fucking talking. What is that one about, dude? Because you've heard, you've told me before, but I think I was either really high or really drunk or both. But what is that shit about? You mean like seeding? I've heard about that, like that they seeded the world with human beings.
Oh,
on purpose?
It's a thing that I've watched. It was basically the Anunnaki came down and.
Jesus Christ.
Well, no, yeah.
Everything has this backstory. You got to read a Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
fucking-
basically. Yeah, and that's what it is. It's my Lord of the Rings. It's fun. And they came down and they were mining gold for thousands of years.
The
and like,
Anunnaki were mining gold here.
yes, because they needed to survive for some reason.
Right.
And Earth apparently has a lot.
It
of
makes
gold.
their dick hard.
Yeah, it makes their dick hard.
So
They
gotta-
like jewelry a lot.
It's like their Viagra, their horny toad weed.
So, well, apparently, like for thousands of years, it was just on the surface of the Earth. Like you could see it shining and everything. That's what
And then they overmined it, or what?
everybody overmined it. You know, like they talk about the cities in Mexico of just everything's paved in gold. You know,
Yeah.
and then anyway, so the Anunnaki come. Then after a while, they're like, I don't want to mine this shit no more. So then they take a monkey or something, and
They just got tired.
They got tired. They started fucking monkeys and stuff, and then came humans out of that. And then they apparently helped them evolve. And then we're supposed to be mining the gold.
So they
and-
got monkeys.
and then
right?
they left or some shit.
Is it? I mean, it's not. Is it understood that they had sexual relations, or did they just like create us in a lab?
So in the thing, they create them in a lab, and then take the embryo and put it in an Anunnaki woman, and then she gives birth to it,
To a half monkey, half Anunnaki.
which was us.
Right.
That's what they're saying on the
And
stupid
then
thing.
they enslave their own offspring, their own
Correct.
their own like.
Yes.
I guess we must have looked pretty
But what
disgusting to
happened?
them.
But what happened was it created Nephilim, because apparently the Anunnaki men were like, "Hey, some of these women coming out nice."
Oh, wait, say that again. They created what?
Nephilim giants. They created
Giants?
Nephilim. I can't even
The
spell it.
Anunnaki created giants after they created.
The Nephilim are mysterious beings or of people Hebrew Bible who are large and
Here we
strong.
go with the whole fucking Kanye thing. Why? They're these giant monstrous Jews. Man, that whole conspiracy, not a conspiracy theory, the whole like weird origin of man stuff, that gets so weird, but it always somehow comes back to the Jews or the Native Americans.
So it was a giant race of human beings because the Anunnaki started fucking the human women. God or the head of the Anunnaki found out, came over, and that's why he had the flood. It wasn't to kill humans. Apparently, it was to kill the Nephilim.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, they're bigger. Why would they be wiped out and not?
I guess they
They don't know how to swim?
apparently.
They had those goofy fucking.
Yeah.
My pituitary gland. I can't swim, even though I'm 8 feet tall. I'm telling you, motor skills go away after like 6'7".
Oh, I don't.
6'9".
No, I'm thinking about all the Tracy McGrady. He was 6'9". He moved amazing. You
So
know what I mean?
around 7, maybe around 7 feet. That's when you're just like,
No, because Kevin Durant's 7 foot.
oh, when I was 5 years old, I wore a size large, extra large.
Yao Ming apparently was made, not in a lab, but they made his parents like hook up so they can have like an amazing athlete. But anyway, yeah,
You think they did something to?
Yao Ming.
I mean, in vitro kind of thing, like, or what is it called when they take the egg out? They put a special
it's in
sperm
vitro.
in, and then they just shove it back in there.
Mm-hmm. You think? Would you ever do the CRISPR thing where it's like
Air fryer?
No, I forgot what it's called, CRISPR or something. But basically, you're able to decide the genetics of your child. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, this is both your and her attributes. What do you not want in there? Well, get rid of allergies.
No.
I have green eyes in there. Put green eyes. Yeah.
No, this I always feel like there would be some kind of like monkey paw wish thing to it.
Like they're born without a soul.
Yeah, like you if I were to like add it, like, oh, we're just gonna make him perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would probably do something. I mean, it's something unnatural, right? Because you're basically loading up all the bars on a make your own player fucking thing. There's gotta be something that happens in nature that's a good what is it called, theory or hypothesis that maybe comes out and he's just like, huh, it's so funny, Dad.
Yeah.
You're like, come on, it's funny, right?
You're like, you're the inferior of me.
Yes. All I do is math and athletics. Jump over barriers.
Honey, did you not click on soul?
And I'm all trying to make him laugh. Oh, so you'll be running away from the police, huh? No, Dad. It's called athletics. Okay, track and field. Okay. Dude, I wouldn't want to raise a psycho.
I believe in the old school Mexican Catholic or Mexican or Irish Catholic way, you know, which is you just keep having a bunch of kids and one of them's going to turn out all right. And they're the ones that you put the whole family's back on. You know what I mean?
You got to have a volume. Well, you had to have a volume of kids because,
Yeah.
well, a lot of them, let's be honest, weren't going to get educated. But they had hands and they had feet and they could help out around the house, help out mom, help out dad.
It's so crazy seeing my aunts and which ones, the older ones, how motherly. I mean, they're all motherly. They're all but like with their own sisters, it's like they're a mother to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what happens when you have those big families where like
They're 20 years apart.
yeah, like my mom's big sisters, they're all like older than her. Like
Yeah.
she looked at them like they were moms.
Yeah, like my kids play with my cousins. They're my cousins,
Oh shit!
but they're the age of my kids.
Right.
So it's like, it's weird. They're like, yeah, we're cousins. I was like, technically, you're my cousin. And they all looked at me like, what the fuck? And I'm like, well, because you're my... I'm not going to explain this. Never mind.
I was watching that movie. By the way, everybody, you guys got to watch You guys got to watch this movie, All Quiet on the Western Front, man. I was talking about it on the Willful Ignorance podcast. I saw it, man. It was so fucking good. I haven't seen a movie about war that was that good in a while, man. Or, you know what? I haven't seen a movie that was that good, period. I mean, it was, yeah, it had like war scenes or whatever, but it was beautifully made. Like my girl likes independent films. She's not that big into action movies, not particularly war either. But she watched it with me, and she was trying to do her homework. She was like, "I'm just gonna work on my stuff. You can watch whatever you want." And after the movie started, like, it just draws you in, man. It's fucking powerful. And I was thinking, I was like, is that glorifying war? And if so, I thought to myself, wait a minute. But I think war is one of the very few things in life that is worthy of glorifying. And when I say glorifying, I don't mean thinking that it's morally right. What I mean glorifying is glorifying it because the monumental task of millions of people working in cohesion to try to destroy another group of millions of people, the things that human beings do as a group is amazing, and it's at its most awesome and powerful when it's war. I mean, you can see it in things like sports. I think that's why we love sports so much, because it's a physical endeavor. It's a simulation of warfare. This is why football's king, because football was able to masterfully recreate the emotion of two sides fighting in a war, but without. I mean, apparently for years they were actually hurting each other pretty bad, but I think they're starting to tweak it so that people don't get concussions. But the point is that the reason why we love football so much, why we love sports so much, is because they simulate that struggle of war, which is the most, like I said, the biggest arena in which human beings work together, and it's the highest stakes out of all of them. So when I'm watching this movie, right, and it's so fucking good. It's 2.5 hours long, man. Usually when I see 2.5 hours, I'm like, I give you 2 hours, but Jesus Christ, 2.5 hours.
Is this World War I or II?
It's a World War I one.
The Great War.
Yeah, and I watched it. And I was like, damn it, man. Because for a while I used to be like, I don't want to watch war movies and then be like, oh, I can't watch movies because I was in the actual war. It's like, yeah, more than anything to me, it gives me an insight. Like when I see guys running, I'm like, fuck, that sucks, asshole. Like if I see a movie where like they're running in their flak jackets and they got all that fucking gear on, I go, man, I know that sucks fucking ass, but it happens and you can do it. So it gives me another insight to it. So I do like watching war movies, right? But I don't know. I was getting conflicted because I don't like, is that glorifying it or idolizing it in some kind of a way? What I told myself was that it wasn't idolizing it. It was glorifying it, and meaning it was putting it on a pedestal as far as human endeavors as a group. Like that is probably the biggest human endeavor that there is a group of people working to try to murder another group of human beings for whatever X reason. But I don't know. I think that's why war movies are so compelling. And the reason this one's compelling is because it's very well written. Not only well written, but it's very well shot. Everything about it is fucking perfect, man. I can't recommend it enough. But now I feel like I gotta
You think
watch
it's different for
Rodeo.
you? Like because you actually went to war. compared to somebody
I don't
who
I don't
hasn't.
I don't really think it's that different. I think, like I said, the only thing that's different is that I can tell, or I can put myself in that position of like the war movie and like see the guys running through like either through streets or through this jungle. I go like, man, I know that fucking sucks. Like you could barely breathe, but you're on so much adrenaline that your legs are fucking pumping, and then sometimes you step wrong, you fucking slip, and you're like, fuck, I know that's happened to me before. So, and maybe it'll add a little bit of extra in that what that feels like. But I think at the end of the day, man, it's just the ability to be violent is in most human beings and the grand majority of human beings. And you can use your imagination of what it would fucking feel like. Like you don't really need to have been in a war to look at a war movie and go like, fuck, that sucks that guy's doing that. You can get lost in it anyway. But I guess that's just good movie making, good filmmaking. But I don't know. I feel like I got to watch. I wish I could do what George does and just watch terrible movies.
Yeah.
For the sake of watching a terrible movie. And then not having a problem with it. And it's like, oh yeah, it was terrible because of this and that. I'm like furious after like 15, 20 minutes, and if a movie sucks, I'm like, fuck this stupid shit, making me waste my fucking time. And then sometimes I'll just stay there watching it, hypnotized.
It has to make me question reality a lot of the time. I can like, oh, this is different. This is, you know what I mean?
Like getting
that's why I like documentaries so
lost
much.
into it.
Yeah, because I'll start like if I watch a documentary or somebody's biopic, I pause and then I start like researching it. I'm like, oh, this is BS.
Yeah. I like watching documentaries too, man.
The only problem is you take so much stuff in that you like just start spitting it out, and it's just like, all right, what did I look up that was true and what's not true, and then you don't. It's just too much info.
Right?
You don't remember.
Does this person have an angle too?
Yeah.
You realize there's some kind of fucking neo-Nazi afterwards. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, like when Patrice was putting out all like he was the Obama deception, like he was big on that. Like when it came out in 2008.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which was Alex's Jones documentary.
Yeah.
And he just kept going on and on with it.
He's a big Alex Jones dude. Here's my thing with those guys. Like, earlier we were talking about Glenn Beck, right? And even Alex Jones. There's a lot of like dudes that seem crazy when they talk about their conspiracy. Okay, I gotta say that right. There's a lot of dudes, right, that are considered conspiracy theorists. Guys that dabble into like, listen, this is what the government's doing, this and that. And sometimes it becomes so crazy, like the FTX thing.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, a bunch of idiots fucking lost their money. And then you start hearing, oh, but they also donated to this political party. And
$400 million.
And then $400 million disappeared. And now they don't know where that came from. And then you're going like, fuck, man, does everything that works out there in the government a fucking lie or some kind of cheating scam? Or am I just now listening to a guy that's gone insane and is always talking about stuff like that?
It's both. It's
both, right?
But it's the brain chemistry. Like we're talking outside, how I can't drink alcohol because then I get super tired and I want to go to sleep because my chemistry is different. My chemistry for bullshit is very high. I can consume, I can pound that back. And I'm just like, this is fucking great. Whereas other people are like, I'm nauseated. I can't take this shit no more. I feel stressed out. And it's like,
I don't know how you guys drink this truth.
yeah, but it's not even truth. It's just,
well, the thing is that it's not the truth either. It's a lot of opinion with some things that are true, but at some point it becomes hard. Some people just go, well, I'm going to take everything that he says is truth, instead of going like, well, what about this is for sure true, and what about this is just an opinion where the guy just puts a little more salsa into their tacos and makes it a little bit spicier.
Some people just like to binge on junk food. I'm just going to stuff my face with junk food. I don't care if it's true or not. It feels good to me. and I'm going to keep doing that. And it's probably really bad for your brain, but I was once told the reason I do that is because I don't feel like I have control over my life. So I have to feel like I have control of the world's problems. Like,
Right.
oh, I got it all up here. I know what's going on. But you don't.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I would challenge that in the sense of like I've never like heard about stuff that's happening like that our government's doing in other countries and thought that gave me control. If anything, it made me feel even more helpless. I was like,
But the
"Fuck,
knowledge
man."
of it.
Maybe the knowledge.
Yeah.
Maybe that is. I think that's just a reward system of finding something, like
Yeah.
looking for it and like, oh, look at this. They fucking shot Kennedy for sure, you know, and it was the mafia and the fucking government.
The scary part is when you find one that's like real, and then 5-6 years later, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, that's real," and it's like, and then it just becomes part of the American. And then it's even scarier when you see everybody go, "Oh yeah, that's real," and then ignore it. Like the Epstein thing.
Yes.
I had said stuff about, you know, I didn't. I heard somebody say about it, about all that stuff, and then I repeated it. But I believed.
But you
it.
had heard the whole billionaires are going to
Sex cults and all this, and actually it goes in my head. It goes much deeper, which scares the shit out of me. And what scared me more is that everybody's like, "Meh, it happens." It's like, oof.
that nobody takes it as seriously as you do.
Well, then nobody felt disgusted. I felt disgusted. Like, I'm like, man, these are our leaders going and doing this shit. Like, it's the same thing as it was, you know, in Roman times. You know what I mean? You hear about the debauchery that they had in the bathhouses, and you're like, what a crazy society. No, we're worse here. Because you're flying them in from all over the world.
And it's a bunch of old leathery fucking dudes
Who've been doing it for years.
getting their dick sucked by these like bombshell models.
Oof.
And he's like, oh, I love getting my dick sucked. I love getting my dick sucked on an airplane. And I'm already going to Epstein Island. I'm fucked up, dude.
That's exactly what he would have been like. And people be like, yeah, he's cool.
Play my saxophone while I get my balls licked.
Damn, you should have been a 90s comic. That would
I know, right? Hey, Hillary. Hey, bitch. I'm fine. I'm fun, Monica. Come here, chubby.
Or when the Federal Reserve is not a actual federal, you know, it's not part of the government.
Right.
That one, that I didn't get scared, but I was like, oh shit, what the fuck? What's money then?
But I mean, sometimes you can be so stupid. You're like, but I mean, there's got to be an explanation for it, right? Like we're not.
And then the same person folds the dollar and is like, look, the alien, look, the Twin Towers. I told you.
One of
You
them's
see?
on fire.
Oh, I was that asshole. 25. Like, let me see a 20. Give me your. Let's start folding it. I'm like, and you see, and then I wondered why. Like, I was like, why is everybody so? They don't want to be around me. Like, I don't get
Everybody
it.
gets weird when I bring up mass murder on the dollar bill. That we did. And
They get weird when I give them a speech about Building 7. I don't understand what's wrong with them.
I thought it was called Tower 7.
Building 7.
Stop changing the facts, dude. This is how I know it's bullshit. Tower 7 is just lore, right?
No, Building 7. It's a lot.
Let me see that shit.
Yeah.
Let me see that shit collapsing. I'm tired.
Ooh.
I'm tired of you fucking.
You've never seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
I showed my mom and she freaked the fuck out because I go, okay, oh no, I think we did this before, right? Fucking George started making fun of me for it. All right.
All right, everybody. This is OG misinformation. I don't see anything.
This building.
It's all zoomed in on.
All right, I'll refresh it to the beginning. Hold on, watch. It's going to zoom out. Look at this building.
Uh-huh. All right.
Straight into the footprint.
Well, I mean, maybe it slipped on something.
Look, watch. Doesn't lean anywhere. And the guy had insured it for terrorism like a month before. The guy who owned it.
He's in on it. I mean, he's
No, you
in on it
can't-
in the sense that, listen,
I don't even want to bring his name up, so I'm not going to even bring that up.
billionaires allow the government and vice versa to do whatever they want. So I don't think you can I think it's more simple. It's as simple as they probably could have prevented 9/11. Am I really fucking saying this out loud? This is fucking
Well,
crazy.
just like they say they could have prevented Pearl Harbor.
Yes, and fucking yeah, and that came out too, man. Like, is everybody that we believe to be a hero in elementary school now a big fucking liar, piece of shit?
Yeah.
Are liberal white women right about that? What was I getting at?
There's a higher level though. I think that it's like you're running the whole house, right? And it's like, well, why are we doing that? That's mean, Dad. And it's like, you don't fucking understand. That dog on our front yard is gonna attack our house. I gotta go fucking kill that damn dog. You know what I mean?
I think it's like the mafia.
That was a horrible analogy.
It's like the mafia, right? Like they're all in the mafia. They're all criminals, and they're gonna do something, but they gotta warn, like, hey, we're gonna go kill a guy, but it's gonna be by your restaurant. And it's like, all right, we'll just make sure you don't fucking do it. But in this case, it was like, hey, listen, there's gonna be some shit that's gonna happen. I would insure my building for terrorism. I can't tell you what we're gonna do, but I would insure my building for terrorism. And the guy's like,
Or
say no more, homie.
or you're already in on certain councils, and so you hear about threats before the rest of the population. So you're like, shit, that might happen in a year or two. And so what you do is you insure it because we don't know where it's going to hit. So
Right.
I'm going to insure it for that. And then just so happens a month later, then it happens like, oh, fuck. But because I'm high up in the society, I get access to these committees. That
Committees?
these morbidities and chlamydia that I get from these islands, and I get to use that knowledge to my benefit, whether that's the insurance, whether that's certain stocks. I just know what's going to happen before it happens because I'm getting information.
Yeah, I mean, that's my explanation for Tower 7. It's just, listen, we can't see what happened. Where was that? Where was that? It was right next to the towers, though, right?
Right next to the towers, and they said it happened because there was a fire inside. Yeah, it was the whole inside was on fire, even though we didn't see flames really coming out the side or anything. And then that's why it fell into its footprint within 7 seconds.
So they basically said that because the towers came down.
Not the towers, building 7.
No. But I'm saying the towers came. What came down first? The towers.
The towers.
The towers, right?
Yeah.
And then, I guess, in their devastation, somebody dropped a candle, and then it lit the whole place on fire. What was their explanation for, like, why was there a fire?
Because debris fell onto the building. Yeah.
I mean, it could, cause a leak in a gas pipe or something.
It's oh man, I want to go so hard into this that I can't.
Why not?
Because I don't know.
Exactly.
But-
Why you gonna go
Okay,
hard on something you don't
mind?
know,
Hold
bruh?
up.
Why you gonna go hard on something you don't even know, bruh?
Nobody knows. We weren't there. But my conspiracy mind, all these firefighters went to the after it all collapsed and were like, why is there the steel beams turned into, fucking molten metal? Like, why is that happening? And now they're all fucking dying and they're not saving these people. You know what I mean? Like, why do they? Because they're witnesses. Get them the fuck out of here. They're witnesses.
You're saying, is that the reason that they're
No, I'm saying I believe the 9/11 Commission, and I'm 100% down with the story. And FTX did not do any of that other stuff. And whatever digital dollar they want to give us and chip us, let's go.
You heard it here, folks. Josh believes that the government wants first
They're killing
responders to die, which is why they're withholding funding for their health care. That's crazy, dude. I mean, I don't believe anything that I can't prove, but I like to
These are just
entertain
thoughts.
scenarios, and I have a Rolodex of different scenarios, and it's like, oh, this is where 9/11 was actually an inside job. But I don't use it.
Yeah.
I don't put it into my program. I just have it there as like, oh, that could have been something,
That's all I have in that's my whole thing.
There's no regular fucking, sometimes regular things are.
I like to create my own reality, live in a fantasy. But I've learned to not force it on other people. You know what I mean? Where I'd be like sheep. Yeah, I mean, there's for a while when I woke up. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just thought everybody was a sheep.
Where you're like
sheep.
almost evangelical about.
Very much so. That's why my parents, when I went home for Thanksgiving, like, you got to get away from us. Go see we're going to send you to a priest. And when I was there for Thanksgiving, they sent me to a priest.
To go talk to him about Towers Building 7?
I unloaded on this poor priest about the Federal Reserve and how the New World Order.
How did he take that?
He gave me a stack of books and was like, but his face was like, all right, well, it's not end of times. I was like, I didn't say it's end of times, but I'm talking like, when I'm telling him, I'm talking like this the whole time. And
Oh,
like I want him to
Fucking
do
Adderall
something.
out and shit.
Yeah. I want him to do something about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
George got mad at me ugly because he was just like, what the fuck do you want me to do about it, Josh? And I'm like, remember we're in the car? You were there, I think. We're going to Corpus or something. And I'm like, nothing. I'm just telling you. He goes, how do you even fucking... He got so mad. But I would incite that out of people, and I didn't want to do that anymore. So now I keep it up in here, and it's gotten worse, and it's gotten louder to the point where I'm up at 3 o'clock at night, like pacing back and forth, like it's keeping me up.
You don't even need to get too hard into conspiracy theory. Just like the stuff that does come out on the news now is infuriating.
I don't,
because they'll tell you, they'll be like, we're sending more billions of dollars to Ukraine.
Yeah.
And you go, what the? That's not even a conspiracy. They're saying it right now.
Yeah.
It's like that in itself is frustrating. So I can't imagine. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I love stories. Which is why I love stand-up, because I like using my mind to take words and create reactions from people and create some kind of narrative that's funny at the end. And I love telling stories. So when I hear crazy conspiracy stuff, I don't believe them, but I don't dismiss them as complete pure maliciousness or complete pure stupidity. I look at it as like, that is something someone believes for X reason. I don't, but only because I haven't, I don't know enough about that. But I am, at this point in my life, I'm like, just about anything could be true or false. Like if we found out that that all there was a group of both Republican and Democrat politicians that were like having sex with underage children or engaging in satanic fucking things, I'd be like, oh yeah,
Sounds about right.
That sounds about right, and I wouldn't be like, what? But they did that? No, man. But because I like to keep an open mind, but also I feel like I have to say, keeping too much of an open mind is most definitely not good for you. When I went to the psych ward in the VA hospital for anxiety, I remember telling some guy, we were smoking a cigarette outside in our fucking crazy person pajamas, and he was like, "What are you here for?" I was like, "Oh, this and that," and then he goes, "It sounds like you just have an open mind." And he seemed like such a wise dude, but I also don't know what the fuck this dude is like when he's fucking hammered. Or he's probably
I fuck dogs.
I know, right? But see, it seemed like there was a lot of people there that were just normal, and there were some people just mainly elderly.
What year was this?
2010. After I started stand up, and yeah, well, part of me doing stand-up was because, I did mushrooms for the first time 2 months prior, and then I was a little freaked out by that, and a little also heartfelt. I understood love and all this shit, and I got anxiety. And then after that, I felt like wanting to do stand-up, and then I did it. And then a few months later, I'm getting, anxiety, panic attacks, and I go into the VA psych ward. It was because I was drinking a lot too. It's like from what I understood, a lot of vets would go to the psych ward and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna be a harm to myself or something." But it was really because part of them just wanted to get out of the streets or get out of the bars or get out of the whatever place.
Sober up.
Yeah. So you'd go in there, and usually they would have you with somebody that's like just like you. And I remember talking to a dude, and it was like, yeah, dude, I don't know. I just fucking came in here. I didn't know where else to go. And I just, yeah, I was lonely. Didn't give a shit, you know? And then I remember,
Like detached, you mean?
no, not detached, just like, yeah, well, I guess maybe from society
Yeah.
or the world, maybe just didn't have enough people to talk. I think most of it was just not having somebody to talk to, you know, or keeping it in and not talking to the people that you do have to talk to. Because there was also, like I said, the ones that were really like, you could tell there was something up with their mind, was like the older ones, where they, you know, like missing teeth and just like not acting crazy, but just like not all there, you know?
Yeah.
Like I remember making this one dude laugh, and I was saying just dumb things, and he was just like, ha, 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 ha. And then I would just be like, yeah, and then they bring you this like stupid food and all this stuff, and the guy was just laughing, and but I knew that guy was, you know, like gone,
Yeah.
like he wasn't like, you know, he wasn't about to pick up the New York Times and read it, you know, and see what's happening there. So that was crazy. How the fuck did I get into that?
The going to the psych ward, you mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I guess we're all crazy,
Being
right?
too open-minded.
Yeah, too open-minded. Yeah, I mean, you're intaking too much information. Sometimes you got to slow it down. You know, sometimes you got to slow it down and be like, you know what? What I need to do right now is I need to clean this fucking kitchen, and then put in some laundry, go work out, and not think about the past or the future, or, you know,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do about this? Just do something immediate that's good.
Yeah.
You know, like that's how I usually get out of those weird funks where I'm usually like thinking about the future, like, oh man, what am I gonna do about this and that and this, and then I start getting a little too like I could start feeling the anxiety, and I'm just like, go work out or go fucking walk the dog or something positive, immediate. You know.
I was told I have too much time to think. That's what it is. You need to do more with your day. You have too much time to think.
That actually is a trap too, about having too much time to think, which I gets into why you gotta every once in a while. Man, I wish I knew how important exercise was earlier in my life in my 20s. I wish I known how important exercise was, and much more as a guy, how important lifting weights is for overall mental health. You feel good, like your mind feels good after doing weight exercise, even if it's not like, because I used to think like, I guess you have to like get enormous so you can do a lot of weight and then it feels, I guess, the bump. But it's like, it's just, it's a weight proportional to your skinny ass, you know, and then you do, you know, whatever weights you got to do, whatever exercises, and your mind feels like it's healing. It's crazy. And I didn't know that in my entire 20s. I didn't know any of that fucking shit. It wasn't until I started, like, you know, seeing people on YouTube and you know, Joe Rogan talking about physical fitness and how it was supposed to be good for you and all that shit. And then going, you know, down the rabbit hole on YouTube of like people, you know, teaching you not just how to do exercises, but like, I guess the neurology of exercising, of how good it is for you. I like it because it keeps me from drinking too. Because sometimes I'm like, I can't drink today because tomorrow I want to exercise, and I just don't get a good workout if I had like 3 or 4 beers. The next day, I'll feel not as good. I could do it, but it's better for me to just like be completely sober, and then the next day, hit the old fucking gym. You know, pick up my 5 little 5-pound weights, get my little sweat going, and then just go home.
Put on my yoga
Feels good.
pants.
Put on my yoga pants with Juicy in the back. what is the cleavage of a guy? It's your arms, right? A man cleavage is it your chest?
It's the cum gutters, the cuts
That
on your
V
hips,
cut?
the V cut.
Yeah.
I think that's the
Why do you have to say cum gutters, dude? They sound so like
When you-
a gutter full of cum.
Yeah, that's
like
exactly
it's
what it is.
raining cum in your
like
house.
when you're laying on your back and you cum on yourself. But when you're fat, it just rolls off the side. But if you have cum gutters, it gets stuck in that cum gutter.
Why would I roll over and just cum on myself?
You wouldn't have to roll over. I'm saying like because you're already fat, so you're eating chips on your chest and you're jacking off down here, and then it shoots up and it lands on your stomach, right? And then it rolls off, drizzles down, right? And you get your chips and you're like, "Ooh." You eat it, right? And then, but if you have cum gutters, right, and you have, and then you just, or actually you're not jacking off on your back. You go, I'm about to nut, and she gets off, and you're like, ugh, and you nut on yourself, and then it gets stuck in the gutter. I like how right now I picked up my fat fold, and I was like, right here where the cum gutter should be.
And I watched it. I saw the whole fucking. I have this weird like Sharon Stone fucking view of your legs.
Stop wearing gray short or pants.
Like, oh, you're like, when I dig the old bad boy out.
Man, I used to have cum gutters. No more.
I just want to look as good as Anthony Kiedis.
Who's Anthony
And
Kiedis?
is the lead singer for the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh yeah, that guy's always been ripped.
Yeah, I mean, and he's not been like enormous or skinny. He's just like in shape. You know, if I can keep it in as good a shape as Anthony Kiedis did in his 40s and 50s.
Yeah,
I wonder how old he is.
he's in his 50s at least.
50 something, right? He's got to be like 54, 57. No, he's probably like 57. How old am I? 38, 48.
He's 60.
What?
He's 60.
Anthony Kiedis is 60?
Flea is 60. Chad Smith is 61. And the other guy's 52. He's the youngest.
Yeah. Wow. John Frusciante is you said what, 51?
52.
52? Wow. Damn, dude, I remember listening to the Red Hot Chili Peppers when I was in Iraq. No, in Afghanistan.
He looks more Mexican as he grows older.
I used to go. Anthony Kiedis?
Yeah.
That's the Red Hot Chili Pepper. John Frusciante looked Mexican for like 3 years of his life. It was weird seeing that.
He did?
No, John Frusciante.
Yeah.
There's a couple of years where he looked a little bit Mexican.
He's not?
No, bro. He's like I think he's Italian.
Oh.
And his father used to be I think some kind of, was it composer or band director of classical music or some shit like that? The guy, I guess you have to have it. Your dad has to be good so that you are amazing. Like look at like Mayweather,
Yeah.
Khabib Nurmagomedov. They all had fathers that they were good. And then I guess having a son that follows in your footsteps, you get to pass on all this knowledge so they can basically skirt all these fucking problems that you run into.
The thing that took you 20 years to learn.
Yes.
They can learn like
you
that.
can feed it to them in like 5 years,
Yeah.
and then they take it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So
Generational wealth.
generational wealth of knowledge.
Yep.
But on top of it, wealth.
But that's what real generational wealth is, because the money after like 2 or 3 generations, usually goes to shit. And
This
then-
is why it's so important to have a father around, or a mother for that fucking matter. Because it's supposed to be the person that already went through the fucking ringer, and now you're getting ready to be an adult, and their job is basically to like be a coach and be like, listen, you're gonna see this, and then you're gonna see that. This is very important that you don't fall for this, or that if you see this, you attach yourself to that.
not necessarily a father, but at least a father figure. So if you have an uncle or a coach,
Sure,
that,
yeah.
you grew
Father
up with,
figure. I guess that's
like
a
Tyson,
more accurate way.
with Tyson with
Customato, yeah.
yeah.
You have to have somebody that that basically guides you, you know, or at least, you know, a dad like my dad, somebody that'll drink with you and talk about stuff. And I think me and my dad really didn't talk that much until like I started drinking.
Really?
And I got out of the army, and I was drink with him, and then he was always a very loving dude, but we didn't really like start connecting like on a like just laughing our asses off for like 2-3 hours.
How old were you when you were like when you saw him? I mean, you always are gonna see him as your dad, but when you saw him for the man who he is, it's like, oh, there you are. You know what I mean? Like you would like just like you would see
Right.
any other person.
I guess it was after I got out of the army, because I remember telling a friend about like the day that I left San Antonio. I was back on leave, and then I was gonna leave. I was gonna go back to the army, and we were more than likely gonna go to Afghanistan. And my dad didn't go see me off at the bus, and I remember being bummed out that he just disappeared the night before. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I guess you fucking. And I remember sharing that with Sergeant Ramos. I remember he's this Puerto Rican dude. We were on guard, and I don't know. I mean, you're on guard with somebody for like 8 hours at a time, 6 hours at a time. So you know you're gonna start talking about all kinds of shit, and eventually it came down to family. And I remember telling him that story about like, yeah, my dad, like he didn't show up. Like he left the night before I was supposed to leave, and he didn't come back. Didn't see me off at the bus. I was like, I don't know what the fuck that was about. I mean, I guess the old man has always been weird. And then I remember Sergeant Ramos telling me like, why is it that I know why your dad didn't go and you don't? And I was like, what? He goes, dude, he's like, you're his only son. Like, what? He goes, I'm not saying it was right or wrong. I'm saying the reason is because you're his only son, and he was sad and afraid that you were about to go off to war, and he just couldn't bear himself to look at you, and then I thought, this motherfucker. That's probably why I never see him cry, because when he gets himself out of situations where he might want to cry, and I just remember thinking that and going like, holy shit. Like that was what it was like. That wasn't just my dad. That was a dude that was not as ready to deal with his emotions as one would imagine an adult of that age would. And I was like, oh, that was probably the moment that it got me thinking like of him as.
But your dad was probably your age right now when you went to war.
My dad was my age, so it's like if my son was about to go into the army or into the Marines or something, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna go to Cabaz's and smoke for a little bit, pass out on his fucking couch. Yeah, but no, man. I mean, it made me. It was cool because I mean, I didn't harbor any resent. I thought it was fucked up, but I just thought it was just something weird.
Maybe that's why y'all were so close when you came back.
Yeah,
Because it was just like,
and not only that, I was drinking too.
well, that, but I just like, because in my head I thought, well, if I don't say bye to him now, I don't want to say bye like I'm saying bye to my son, like he's never coming back. So if I don't say bye, he's gonna come back, and then when you came back, he's like, oh, all right.
That's why you never said bye.
Yeah, that's why I never said bye, because I knew I was gonna see you again.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never brought it up to him?
No.
See, that's my problem. I keep bringing up trauma. I keep bringing up trauma to my dad and like laughing about it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I remember that time. He's just like, why are you bringing this up? Like, stop it. Like, that's not. Stop trying. Basically what the roundabout saying is just like, you deal with that. You have to deal with that because you're a man now, and you push that back because your family counts now. All
Right,
that other is
right,
just
right.
bullshit. You know,
Right. That is an old school way of thinking.
Yeah, he's very old school.
Yeah. Because that's. I mean, my dad is you know as progressive as you would want somebody that was born in the 60s.
Yeah.
You know, to be blue collar all his life. You know, but I could tell that he also feels like it is part of his duty to not share his feelings, to not bother people with his
You
feelings,
can't.
because he's got a duty, which is to provide for the family, and at this point to provide for my mom. And nobody needs to be bummed out by emotional issues.
Yeah.
That's how they think about it. They
No,
don't think
it's-
about it as like healing. They think about it as like, you don't bother people with your shit.
Yeah, exactly. Because he told me, he's like, your happiness doesn't matter. Like, why? That doesn't matter now. You have to provide for your family.
Yes.
And I was like, ooh.
That's the mentality of men in war, is like, my life doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters is that the mission gets accomplished, and then we kill these motherfuckers.
And in his head, he's just like, I get it. My brothers get it. Why doesn't the oldest of the whole family fucking get this shit?
Understand it.
Understand, dude. Like, and fuck, I felt like all the way to my 30s, I didn't understand that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I understand it, but it is also like, dude, some people are just born the way they're born. Like, I can no longer,
Well, they were raised by a military man.
by a military man.
Like
What do you mean?
my grandfather was in the military, so he raised them very
like structured
very
and stuff like
structured.
that.
Yeah, they all had the military haircuts growing up.
See, and now I have the opposite of, like, I don't want to be structured. I don't want people to tell me what to do
Yeah.
and how to do it, because I took mushrooms and it showed me that I was free and I won with God. So fuck you.
And I'm a butterfly.
So
Come out
fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
You're at the psych ward singing it.
Fucking rocking back and forth with my fucking juice box.
But mumbling it. Fuck you, just tell me.
Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you. Who's that guy?
Roll's about to start another riot. Let's get down here, please.
Comedian. Oh man. Well, I guess we can finish up here, man. You got anything going on? This is coming out next Monday.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. If you're not doing
Yeah.
anything and you're in Austin on Saturday, November 26th, come check me out at Monk's Jazz. I'll be headlining 2 shows. Get your tickets and upvote it on Do 512 if you can. And then also December 2nd at the Upstage Comedy Club in San Antonio off Walsham. Get your tickets and check out comedyfrequency.com.
Hell yeah. And this Wednesday, the 23rd, I'm going to be in Austin headlining the new Cap City. The old Cap City, I guess it shut down like two years ago or something. Well, it's back up. It's in a new location. Cap City Comedy Club is the first time where I recorded my first 2 hours. I'm going to be going back and performing there for the first time in years. Thank God for Margie and Chandy, who hooked me up with an ability to headline. So this Wednesday, if you're in the Austin area, man, come check it out. Other than that, thank you guys for supporting the podcast. My buddy who showed up yesterday, a lot of people have been showing up to the Revolver show at Laugh Out Loud. I met like 3 different people. They came up to me. They were talking about watching the podcast and the stand up that I put online. It was pretty cool. So those of you coming out to support Revolver here in San Antonio, man, at the Laugh Out Loud, thank you guys so much. Brother that told me that you want to do stand up, man, you got to go do it. Go to LOL, throw your name in the bucket and you know, write for like 2 or 3 weeks, write your best, 3-4 minutes of material, and then go start throwing your name in the bucket. One of these days you get called up, go do it, man. It'll be fun. At the very least, you'll find out that it's not for you. But hey, who knows? Maybe you find out that this is the shit you always wanted to do. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a good evening. Goodbye.